Hello and welcome to the moment. Today we're going to talk about mental health perspectives. The reason why I wanted to bring this up really is just because I'm seeing that things could be going differently. So I wanted to bring some different perspectives into all of this.
It's nice. You have something specific you want to start with?
Yeah. Kind of what I wanted to start with is related to a more holistic view of treating problems, like not just mental problems, but like I don't know, like I've seen it myself with my own healing journey, that I've been not just really treating just the mental aspects of it all, but there was much more going on, many different, like you could call it, symptoms. And yeah, and I think that some people might go somewhere to be treated for the mental aspects, and that, like, that's good. But then there are like other things too that are going on, and I don't know. It's especially once I started to look into what kind of happens with trauma and how it affects like the whole body with the hormones and the different parts of the of the body that get affected by it. Kind of just hit me like, maybe there's like more to this than just like the mental talking aspect, or even the aspect of like the what some call reparenting, or like something along those lines. That there's like more to it. That there's something in the body that needs to be healed too.
Yeah, that's very interesting with the holistic view that takes into account the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and emotional side. And I do think that is very, very nice that in that view that they think of it so broadly, because it is all connected to each other.
Yeah, and I feel that more broadly speaking, within society at large, that I don't know, like a lot of the things that are going on with looking at the problems that are there regarding health in general, and like mental health and all kinds of other different problems that like the government or different like doctors would talk about, that in that sense they are all connected to each other. And there's this like notion of that they like take alcoholism or all kinds of other different problems for that matter, like similar to that, or obesity and all kinds of different stuff like that. Like not all of it, but there's a larger like a large enough amount of that. I wouldn't really know how much, because I mean I'm hardly an expert, but I do think that, yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I do think that there's like a connection between like the mental health of people and like all their behaviors, what they do, and the government and different like doctors and like the whole health campaign like that they're doing is kind of focused on like trying to get people not to do certain behaviors, and like I mean, the same with smoking. It's like, I don't know, like I know people myself that smoke or drink or do all kinds of different things that are doing so because really they're just struggling mentally. And I think that it's just sad that, I don't know, like they get just viewed through this negative lens, whilst they really just need the mental health help in that sense, as like a big core step, and then like and have like different help with like reparenting with their emotions and a lot of aspects like that. And yeah, I don't know, like it just feels like it could be done much better, and through a view that would take more into account of like what is going on. But maybe partly there's also like this whole I guess stigma around mental health, and and also like this like certain notion people have with regards to people who drink much or smoke much or like do such kind of things, like a negative view of people like that. And yeah, it just doesn't sit right with me, at least.
Yeah, I can see that it can be many times that people are acting like that because it is their way of coping with something more deeper that is bothering them about the past or the present, and to instead work with those people with talk therapy or such would work better, I feel, than to just try to make them change how they're behaving. Because then you if you just try to change how you behave, then the reason why you are behaving that way is still there. So then I guess you will easily fall back into the behavior, and or fall into some other coping behavior. Uh, yeah. So instead, we should work on really resolving those traumas. And also another thing that I thought of that I've heard is like the opposite of addiction is connection. And that really rings true to me because it's like a coping with not belonging or not finding that feeling of connection that everyone needs. And then one way of coping with that can be addiction.
Hmm. Yeah. It that rings true to me as well, because if I think back with regards to my past, thing is like the main reason why or like, yeah, why in the past I would start, for instance, drinking would would be that I try to suppress something inside of me, like that feeling that I didn't really feel like I belonged in anywhere in the world. I felt alien in that sense to it, and then for me that was something to suppress it. But I think also in hindsight that what I really needed was not just connection, like talking to people in that sense, but it's I feel more than that. I feel it's to be able to have that space where you can express those deeper emotions, those deeper things hidden inside of you, like what you're dealing with. And I think that safe space to be able to express what's there, that's really the cause of it all. I mean, it may be trauma for some, or like whatever that is. I feel that's very important, and I think that's why probably something like Alcohol Anonymous or similar things work as well as they do, because they give that space, and you're anonymous in that sense. Like, you can go there, and in that sense, it's a safe space for people to share and be vulnerable. And I think that is in itself what gives it the ability to heal in such a measure. Because I don't know, maybe in some sense they're like helping each other, and at the same time they're like interacting with their own or each other's wounded healer, and that capacity to overcome and heal, and they can help each other in such a way. But more, I don't know, like more more than that, what I also kind of feel is that, I don't know, like within society there's not much space made for such things, or like at least it doesn't feel like for me, or like it didn't feel like that for me. And there's like a certain like idea, as if when you're going through something that or like, I don't know, that one is maybe broken in some way, or whatnot, and there's this pressure of like having to do stuff to be a productive member, and to get back into the whole rat race as fast as possible, whilst some of these things just take time. But then at the same time, there's not really the space, I feel like, that for this type of healing. But but maybe it also has to do with there not being enough psychologists, even though I've heard plenty of people who started to study psychology, at least like for instance, the Netherlands. There were plenty of people who did, but then there's still this kind of lack in a way, that there's like these waiting lists and stuff like that. And but then the people are also helped in a way that it's almost there. Sometimes it's like almost there, but then you're good enough, then you're let go. And I feel like maybe the priority should be on healing the people fully, or like as good as it gets, and not just I don't know, patch people up to get them as quickly as possible back into the workforce.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that there isn't or doesn't seem to be much support to really delve deep into the shadows in that sense of the psyche. It kind of feels like some people are afraid of it. Maybe it brings up something in them that they don't want to look at too, if someone else is bringing something up.
But in that sense, also, I think that overall, it's very hard to deal with that type of stuff, because I know the psychologist that I went to for some time, that she herself needed to go to a therapist while being a therapist, because of how well, not really demanding, but how heavy the job is, because of like what you see when you are a psychologist, from what she had told me herself. And in that sense, I kind of get it with the shadow and all of the those traumatic stories, and all that like heavy energy, that it probably would feel very off-putting to surround yourself with it so much. And in that sense, like, yeah, it is. It can be very heavy.
Even though it's heavy, it's very, I found it is very healing if you have really a safe space where you can express those heavy emotions and be like accepted with those. And it is kind of like a purging that happens when there is a safe place like that, when you're with someone you trust or with a group that you trust, and you're able to authentically speak from your heart and from your pain. It really is a healing thing. But then again, like with depression, it can be a sign that you need time to process something that you've been through. And it's I find it sad that, or I've heard stories about people who've tried to get help, and then they've been prescribed some medication for their depression and really not much else. And I don't know, maybe it is that there are not enough resources, but maybe it's also, yeah, just, but yeah, that's not a long-term solution, and those meds can have long-term side effects. So I do feel like talk therapy with when there is like a good match of personalities with the therapist, or if you can find some supportive group, that is just feels more natural, and like that would get more to the core of the issue, and I guess eventually, at least, if you wouldn't just like circle around it, the elephant. But yeah, I just wanted to say about that these people who are like vulnerable from from where they are in their depression, and they go for help and they are offered these meds, that you can say no to it and find something else to. I hope that people would have more support at that point, like human support.
Yeah, I just also just feel with that it's more about dealing with the symptoms of the problem and not really the, the cause. 'Cause, I mean, I wouldn't really know with regards to like the medication, like how it exactly affects it. But I know that with for instance Jordan Peterson, like yeah, you just can give the lobster serotonin, and it will just pull right up, and it will fight again. But then at the same time, it's just like but when it comes to certain traumas and emotions that are um, within the body, does that get resolved? And that's really something that I'm like I don't know, man. I don't know if that's yeah the full way to go. Because I kind of I have in that sense, looking back at my own story, like yeah, uh, what I went through, it was it was just the going in there into those depths that really helped to get those emotions released again. And I think that, I mean, if it comes to like, let's say those medication, that's like a part of like maybe the hormones and those things, and it'll make you feel good. But the memories, man, they still haunt you. And the thing is, you do not take the medication like during the night or things like that. So it's like it still plays out in some manner, I would think, even though you feel kind of like happier during the day or something. So it's just like I don't know. It just for me it just doesn't sit right, and I think that long term, if you wanna like help people, I don't know. It just feels better to deal with the core of the issue, because then a lot of other things surrounding it falls apart too. Like it falls away, like a lot of other issues that they're having. And then they can just take care of like tension in their body through like stretching and do like I don't know, maybe breath work or something, or meditation to like delve deeper into certain like traumatic experiences, and do different techniques to like get past like the emotional barrier and like get those emotions to come out and to be able to purge them. And yeah, I just think that would be a much better approach personally. And I don't know, and at the same time though, I kind of feel that childhood trauma doesn't get the attention it deserves. I mean, you have kind of like kids that are then put on those meds and stuff, and I don't know, like back when I was little. I mean, it's been some time when I was little. Okay, so that's kind of true. Like things probably have changed in the meantime. But I just remember. I just remember that I was supposedly getting help from the government with dealing with certain issues regarding like bullying and all of the shit that I've been through. But I don't know. It's just that sitting there with this person there at school and then talking for them for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, maybe max 30 minutes. Basically, once a month or so. It's not really like, I don't know, like I didn't really do much. It's more like asking how I'm doing and stuff like that. And I kind of feel that, I don't know, there should be something done more to like deal better with like childhood trauma, and to give like, yeah, to give people the proper help that they need. Because I've seen throughout the years also, especially like the last few years, I've seen a lot of kids that are going through a very rough time right now, and at the same time they're expressing, they seem to be expressing that they don't really have anywhere to go with it, or get the proper help, and often it seems to be counterproductive and like not really well thought out. And I think that, I don't know, like we would overall as a society be such a better place if we would just give people the help that they need, and especially when they're still young, that they would have that type of proper help, psychological help, if in that sense, if they need it, so that they don't have to just like, yeah, just go through all of that, and then just eventually as an adult they have a breakdown, and then they end up in therapy, and then all kinds of stuff happens.
Yeah, it would be better. They would get the help earlier, for sure. Just, I guess it has to do with somehow that with the pace of society, it's just always there's some like hectic urge to be somewhere where we're not yet, and there's so much so-called more important things, but what could be more important than the kids? to really give them more time to open up and for them to feel safe and to feel that it's okay to have all these different feelings and to let them out, that it's not bad of them or something else like that, that there would be opportunities for that kind of healing, of getting the stuckness out of things that they have not been able to express before.
And I think also that next to that, what kind of is missing overall, I feel, is just that we're being taught we're kind of being taught all of these different things and subjects in school and later on too, with regarding like university and college before that, and you name it all. But I kind of also feel that what we're not really being taught is how to, could say it in that sense, take good care of ourselves, of our like mental health or our physical health, or like our overall well-being, and like how to deal with our emotions and how to do these things in a proper sense, or like to give that like space. Because the thing is, like, in some way you could make the argument like, yeah, well, that's the parents' job, and in some sense, like, yes, it is, but at the same time, there are plenty of kids that don't grow up in an environment where they're being taught how to do that type of stuff, like how to deal properly with certain things. And I think that kind of sets people up, if they don't deal with it and don't know how to deal with it, towards problems in later life. And then also at the same time, it's kind of like what keeps this whole like generational trauma thing going too, I feel. Because a lot of families that have generational trauma, they're kind of stuck in certain behavioral patterns and have certain problems with certain emotions or all kinds of different like problems. I mean, some have alcohol problems running in the family, or you name it. It can be anything. But I think that in that sense, it's not like it's not really the people's fault, like the parents' fault, that they grew up in it. It's like a cycle that they're stuck in. And the thing is that I feel that it's important to have that type of structure, to be able to at least give those kids then also a helping hand in processing it, dealing with it, and then know how to properly take care of their well-being, and to be able to put that first. Because I think that's the most important thing. Because you said that but like how society is always about like the next thing and the next big thing, and just keep pushing on and stuff. But the thing is that if it's at the cost of people's well-being, then you'll just end up burning people out, and that's kind of what is happening, because there are so many people that are at some point dealing with it. And it started to become like really noticeable in my old like the company I used to work for, especially during the COVID years. It started to become very like obvious, to say the least, because they were dealing with a lot of other stressors at the same time. The kids were at home, and or they were stuck with their dog in their little apartment, stuff like that, and their normal like coping mechanisms didn't work anymore. So then one after the other at work suddenly started to have a burnout. And they started to have all kinds of mental problems, and one after the other needed to go see someone, or like or even go back to the office to like to be able to, like, I don't know, kind of like cope with the situation, and so that they could like be a long day at work again, so, because that's their coping mechanism, because they can't deal with being at home with their kids for too long, or with their family. And I don't know, like, it kind of just showed me that really there's so much unresolved trauma and issues that are there, and it revealed it to me, at least, that it was there and is there. And yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, let's get on it. Like, let's go create that space for it.
Yeah. There are some spaces on the internet too, like, I guess they're quite rare, but that feel like that are safe and where people can speak and share about also the difficult things, and that's so important. Maybe it's also about changing the culture to more like be more open to that sort of exchange, that it's okay and that it is actually healing. It's not dangerous. Someone shares about something difficult, it's actually healing. But where do you think, or like, where would we start with that, making it happen more?
I don't know, like, in that sense, when I'm thinking about it, I mean, the first thing that I think that one could do, or like, yeah, what one could do is to have more of those places online first, where people can safely share, and that's though a big thing about, like, safely share, like, that it is a safe, an actual safe space where they can be vulnerable, and yeah, it's very, very important in that regard. And I think, like, slowly, I would hope that type of, like, consciousness about, or like, yeah, about those things, or like being aware of those things, and that it isn't scary to talk about those things in like safe settings, would be overall a very good thing. And I think it would also kind of bring people back together in a sense of community, I feel. And at the same time, it would connect people too, like, no matter who they are, because they can relate. I kind of feel like there's such like, yeah, such a like certain fear, or like they just don't want to be confronted by it within, like, well, not the overall culture, but at least the work culture that I've witnessed, that there's a certain fear, like they don't know what to do with it. They're like, oh god, there's this person here talking about these things. But I feel like at the same time, it's a way deeper connection that you're then making. Maybe that's like part of the fear that people maybe are afraid to be that intimate with others. That's why they don't dare to do it. But at the same time, it really connects people, different people, like no matter who they are, together, because they can be like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and they can relate, and then they can share in their own burdens too, and then you have it started, like that sharing of those burdens, so you don't have to, in that sense, bear your cross alone.
Bear it alone, or be pushing something repeatedly over time down, and suppressing it. That can take up so much energy to keep doing that. And instead we could release that, and then be able to move forward.
Yeah, I think that should be the goal then, to heal and be able to move forward, to leave, in that sense, that the to be able to leave the past in the past, and yeah, so, and to be able to be more in the present, because that's something that I've noticed, that when I was dealing with my own trauma, with my own issues, you could say, I wasn't able to be in the moment. No pun intended. But I really couldn't be in the moment, in the present. I always needed something else to occupy my mind. Because really deep down, if I would be present, I just wouldn't be able to. I would be uncomfortable for me, because I would start noticing things. Would notice that I'm uncomfortable, that my body doesn't really feel okay, and that there are these emotions there. Yeah, I don't know. It hasn't been a real easy process of like getting to the point that I got to, but it is something that definitely was worth it, I feel, because I've never have felt this would say relaxed or like at ease in my own body, and that I could actually also feel things and be able to express emotions, and not like try to drink things away when it gets too heavy, or in general, how I used to do, go on fast food binges, and or eat all kinds of cake and chocolate, and there's like tons of that type of stuff, to like eat it away, to like push it away. And yeah, it just, I don't know, like in the end, it kind of made me detached from other people as well, because I couldn't connect with other people, because I couldn't connect with my own emotions, my own self, in that manner. And yeah, I kind of like, even though I was surrounded by people, I was in like tower of sorts, like a tower of illusions. Just they're just sitting, just like pondering my little orb, going like, "Oh yes, I'm here in my tower of illusions," and I just kept myself in that tower, unable to like step out of it, to actually face the emotions. And I had like built up this like, yeah, brick wall around myself, and it took a while to like, yeah, get that brick wall down, but it was definitely worth it. But I don't know, but at the same time, I do want to add that I've been to therapy and stuff. I wouldn't say it doesn't help, and it didn't help, but I kind of also felt that at some point I started to, because of my own like digging into these things, figure out methods and things like what I would be doing that would really go very deep into like the cause of it all. And yeah, and being like trying out things over the years to see what works, or at least for me, what works for me. And yeah, but I also think that the big difference between like what I all did and the therapist that I went to, that it's also a question of time. And I think that's why it would have taken much longer with a therapist than if I wouldn't have done anything, than if I would have done something next to the therapy, like on my own in that regard, because in that sense I was then more actively busy with it. Like I was much more involved with it, trying to like dig deeper and deeper. And I don't like I had this like urge to like dig deeper and deeper, and I wanted to like understand all kinds of things. And then yeah, and eventually it led me where it led me now. But yeah, but yeah, that's also a thing. Time, I think, is like a big factor in that. Like why it felt for me like that the stuff that I did was more effective than the stuff the therapist was doing. But in that way, like yeah, it's just time, being able to like dig deeper already on your own. But yeah, but what really made things much better for me, from what I've noticed, was that once I found myself like a proper community where I could just talk about these things, then things started to really move forward. Because the years before that, when I wasn't really doing that, but was doing things on my own, I had progress, yes, but it just wasn't as fast as doing it together with a group, because you have all the kind of like the feedback in some sense, but also the support of like way more people than just in that sense talking to a therapist. And they're yeah, especially like yeah, I was in multiple groups. One of those that was filled with people who were struggling themselves, and I kind of feel that really helped me, and helped me in the like the past before too, to be in such a similar group, to help myself in that sense, to interact with these people. Oh hey, Neirum.
What's up, man? Sorry I kept missing these things. I'm
Yeah.
glad I caught you before you jumped off here.
Yeah, but in that sense, I was yeah, like talking to these different people that were also struggling and going through it hard, and being depressed and having issues with different things, with like for instance drinking and stuff like that as well. And I don't know, like it was just being able to talk to them that allowed me to pull myself out of it. Like we helped each other pull ourselves out of it, even though like that didn't really end up resolving the core issue, but it was a very big step towards it. And I think that if you would just take the resolving of the core issue without the community part, I think it would be very difficult. And if you combine these two, that it's the combination of these two that was really the key in my own healing journey.
Good to have you, Neirum. And thank you, Basareus. That was an amazing share.
Yeah, I've recently talked to a lot of people about alcoholism lately because I have a friend that's real bad off on it, and we've all been kind of talking about the issues of alcohol. And I recently heard Jordan Peterson talking about how 50% of people that are murdered are drunk, and the people murdering them are drunk too. So it's alcohol is really one of the most lethal things that we have. Um, but it's been around the longest, he said as well, and that's why it's so hard to get rid of. People were drinking alcohol because it was really the only clean thing to drink. All the water was kind of contaminated, but you know, it's bad for you. It'll kill you. You'll do something crazy or get really depressed, and your body will just start to shut down. Um, and he was talking about also some people that drink alcohol. If your heart starts beating really fast after 10 minutes of taking a few shots, your body treats alcohol like it's an opioid. So it feels like you're taking like Oxycontin or something when you're drinking, and that's why those people, it's very dangerous for them because it doesn't give you the warnings like other things. It makes you think it's feeling good. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, it is and dangerous.
Yeah.
And I have yet to find some good solutions for alcoholics. I've been hanging out in uh, that Paul Vanderklay's Discord a little bit when I got time, and there was this dude in there that was just freely talking about it. Uh, Alcoholism, the the hurdles you have to go over. He went through the AA program, and even most of the people that go through that, they just relapse and go back into it. It's a real devil of a thing, alcohol. It's a strange relationship human beings have formed with it. But yeah, other than that, I guess we're talking about mental health in general. But I know a lot of people use alcohol to try to deal with their problems. It's a big band-aid people slap on themselves to try to deal with life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And yeah. In that sense, I've been multiple times had been doing it too in the past, like sort of a band-aid of sorts. And yeah, what I was kind of like earlier talking about before you hopped on was that what I kind of figured out was that it's the community. So we're having the community, the space to share your things that is important, but at the same time also to be able to really go to the depths, the core of what's really going on with regards to what's really the core issue. Let's say it's trauma or something like childhood trauma that or anything else. But yeah, it's kind of what I figured out. Like you kind of need both. And it's kind of that what helped me well the last time to get out of it, and so far, like yeah, nothing has happened to like make me think that it would go back to like, yeah, to the old ways.
But yeah, it is true that it's like a coping with something deeper than what can be seen on the surface, probably.
There's not a there's nothing really in a Western culture to help us integrate. There's all kinds of things to help us dissociate, though. Uh, I don't know if that's like a side effect from, I don't know what, from just trying to be a tough guy and try, I can handle everything, but you really can't. And so you start drinking alcohol and stuff to cover it up or to, barrel through the problem. I don't know. Maybe it's just as simple as our water was dirty and we were too lazy to figure another way out and just put the alcohol in it. It'll kill everything, and we'll drink it then. It's a terrible idea because the alcohol it kills all that good bacteria in your gut and replaces. Or if you're drinking beer, you're just getting full of yeast. That's not good for anybody. I wonder what would have happened if somebody would have, figured out, hey, let's just boil the water and then evaporate it and it'll fall down, like distill the water. And that would have been much cheaper than going through the trouble of making booze and fermenting it and everything. You just kind of put it under a fire and, like even Tom Hanks in that Castaway movie, he put a piece of plastic above something and the water evaporated up there and it dripped off into a pan or something. But I don't know. I think people just like getting drunk. I think once they were like, hey, the water's dirty, we have to drink. It just became an excuse over and over. People just like to get wasted for some reason instead of deal with stuff. I think it's changing though, with all the psychedelic community coming out and everybody wanting to smoke weed. It's a different thing. Even around here, there's a lot of Trump supporter people in the area that I live in. We just had 2 marijuana shops open up around here in a 30-minute drive within each other. So that's really different. You go in there and they have a couch with like a lava lamp and people are in there smoking weed. It's kind of crazy, but and there's not as many bars to go to, so I feel like this is going to be the new bar where people go, get stoned and talk about music or something. I don't know. That's what I did when I stopped in there. I was just like, what's going on in here? And you just kind of sat around and listened to music.
Sounds like fun. But yeah, that's not the case in every country, though.
Yeah, I think it's gotta spread out. The alcohol took off. I think psychedelic stuff is definitely going to take off. And it just changes a lot about how people interact with each other. Everybody in the weed store, everybody was quiet and polite. And if you're all drunk, you're all loud. And the music's turned all the way up and everybody's hopping around acting kind of foolish. But the vibe is different. And if everybody just kind of starts having that vibe as a way to I guess, deal with their problems, I think we'll get a little further. Because people have vices no matter what. I've found that they're going to pick something. You know, they're either going to smoke their cigarettes, or they're going to drink, or they're going to smoke their joints, or they're going to do their LSD or something. People always have some kind of chemical companion, let's say. And I've definitely noticed here that it's shifted a lot on what's acceptable. It's becoming quickly very unacceptable to be drunk, and people are okay if you're stoned now, on weed.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I've just noticed it in the past week.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really out and about and driving to all kinds of different towns, and I've seen these new shops opening up, and I'm too curious not to stop. I've got to be like, what's going on in here? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Something's changing.
Yeah. Interesting. But I wanted to add something to the whole thing about the dirty water and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That the weird thing is that the Romans had like their aqueduct system, and they had it. They made it under a certain like slope, so that the water could would go down, and it would be
Yeah,
clean because
gravity's.
the gravity also would over those long distance, all of the mud and the sand would like settle.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but they had clean water. They had it figured out, and like there are some different cultures too that figured something out other than alcohol. But I don't know, like somehow that got lost. It's kind of sad.
Right. Maybe they got drunk.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's something to it, because thinking about it, later on they especially the elite really started liking the younger Dionysus with his drinking and parties. So like, who knows,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, and the primary thing that alcohol does is, it's not like you're unaware of your future. You just don't care about it. So that being the primary, substance or chemical that the West has been supported on, I don't know. I don't know what that means. What I'm interested in now is we have access to all these other chemicals, and what's going to happen out of that. Like, you look at Colorado, they've been smoking weed over there instead of drinking for 10 years now, and they have a whole lot of money, and they've built all these brand new roads, and they're building all kinds of stuff. All kinds of people are moving in there and making new companies and inventing stuff and doing this solar panel off grid stuff. So that's very fascinating to me. I feel like there's going to be some sort of new renaissance that comes out of it, where people aren't just dirty hippies doing acid in the woods. They're doing acid, and they have 3D printers, and they're writing computer code, and they're doing hydroponic experiments, and they're growing different plants. And I mean, these people are really applying themselves to the modern technology that we have and producing off-grid technologies, not technologies that help a corporation, but technologies that help a family, help an individual. You could call them individualized technologies, if you will, technologies that help a person, where you don't have to constantly buy, new parts for a car or something. Instead, you have new concepts that you can trade with people. There's this really great website called Open Source Ecology, and that dude is doing that. He's He's basically got farm equipment that operates like Lego blocks. You take pieces of the farm equipment apart and you can reassemble new pieces of farm equipment with all the same Lego pieces. And even the engine is called a power cube, and you can take it out and put it in different pieces of equipment. So you can have a fraction of the material and equipment and reassemble it and reconfigure whatever your job is for that day. So that came out of a bunch of hippie people, hanging out in Colorado. So that's what I'm interested in. I think alcohol has had a bigger impact on everything than we think. And you look at history, to me, it seems like it was going very slowly. Like nothing was just happening. But you look at things that have been happening since our Industrial Revolution. I mean, it makes your head spin, man. It's crazy. And that's when people started, experimenting with things like opium and other strange drugs and writing about it. And, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, he took a lot of opium. So whenever we got introduced to these other strange things besides just booze, civilization exploded. I'm sure a lot of people could argue, oh, it was all this other stuff. I'm sure it was, but that has a lot to do with it. Our imagination is what is the number one step to, creating a building or a car or a computer. You got to imagine it.
Yeah.
Even Steve Jobs, he took a lot of acid before he came up with Apple and a tablet and a phone in your hand. So,
yeah. I mean, similarly, Nietzsche was using all kinds of opioids and all kinds of different chemicals while writing his works, which is also something that I don't think like many people know, but like, yeah, I think with one of them, I think it was This Spoke Zarathustra, that he was like high out of his fucking mind when he wrote it.
That's a very psychedelic story. I mean, he had the scene with the homunculus in there where, the people have, the different shaped ears and eyes, and that was like a representation of what we're doing. We're not balancing our senses out. We're not balancing ourselves out. And then you can get like big old giant ears and just kind of fall over because you're a constant listener and you don't have enough courage to speak. Or if you have a big mouth, you speak too much and you don't observe. Maybe your eyes are little and your ears are little, And I thought that was really powerful. It was a good example of things.
Yeah, I think so too. But like, yeah. But like what you were saying with like the disassociation, like earlier, like there are plenty of those. Kind of feel like, I don't know, like maybe some of the other stuff that's coming out might hopefully I don't know, make people more present, or maybe like people should be doing things that they're a little bit more present, kind of feel. Because I feel like if people are too like disassociated from themselves and from the world, really, that I don't know, like that's kind of very bad too. Like, I don't know, like a fine line, I feel between those two.
I've known people that do way too many strips of acid, and people can smoke way too much weed, and there's everything's in moderation, but I think if you smoke way too much weed, you're not going to get into a DUI accident and kill somebody with drunk driving. There's just the rock bottom for each of the substances are different, and for whatever reason, I guess, I don't understand the science totally behind alcohol, but the rock bottom on that is like the deepest. It's down there with like meth. It might even be deeper than meth, more deadly to get off of. I think it is actually. With meth, it won't kill you. It's just uncomfortable to withdraw from it. But you withdraw from alcohol, it'll kill you. But I think we're getting to a place where, we're like, our rock bottom isn't as low. Yeah, that's the best way I could distill that, I think.
I was saying earlier before you arrived, Neirum, that I've heard that the opposite of addiction is connection. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that's totally true. I think. Well, let me put it this way. I have done psychedelics at festivals with groups of people, and then I've done them by myself. I had way more fun doing it with other people. It was a lot more fun doing that with other people. Now, remove the drugs and just have the people hanging out there. I think it would still be a lot of fun, and we would probably get a lot out of it. But I think it's good to have a space, maybe like once in a while, do the drugs, because something happens that's magical in those moments that don't happen when you're sober. In fact, it's impossible to happen when you're sober, I think. And I don't know. I think we need a place for these things. I think a long time ago, every Sunday, people used to get together and do mushrooms in church. That's what I think. And maybe they looked at some pretty stained glass windows and read the Bible together and talked about it. Maybe that never happened, but in my world, that's kind of what I imagine would be appropriate. And then the other 6 days of the week, let's not do all the drugs. We'll do that Sunday, and we'll have a good time and integrate our week together and figure it out. That's what I think.
I just know that in ancient cultures, there would be that type of space for such experiences, and they would be like guided by someone who had like knowledge on it, and would be able to like guide people on the trip and stuff, like the elders. They would help in that sense with it, or the shaman too, really. But yeah, but I don't know, but at the same time, a lot of those specific rituals that they were doing with in that sense, like with taking something, or even without, maybe especially without, allowed people to I don't know, like be more vulnerable around each other, be different, instead of I don't know, like you're really different when you're just out about and working and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a like different mindset, and when you used to be like out there in some sort of ritual, or like doing something like that, like those other things are like put aside. Like the focus is now on the ritual, on this what we're here doing. Like all the other things don't matter. It's like all about like we're all humans and we're all here in this moment together, doing this thing. And I think that, I don't know, kind of having that for all kinds of different things. Like for your example, then maybe then with those substances, but also for really the people dealing with trauma and stuff like that. That's, I don't know, like that would be a very good thing, I think. Well, especially if like there's someone there that would be able to guide them.
Yeah, that's the tricky question. I mean, all I know is my personal experiences, and I've done a whole lot of psychedelics, but I've had friends that have done a little bit, and they really ended up in a mental hospital and getting in a fight with the authorities. And so I don't recommend people go just do it for fun. But I'm not going to sit here and say they're evil, bad, dangerous. Don't ever do them. Because who am I to tell people anything? But it helped me a lot. Um, it helped me deal with my traumas, and I had nobody to guide me. I had YouTube videos, I had people's experiences. Erowid.com is a great resource for people researching psychedelics. EROWID.com. But that's the question about individuality. It's dangerous, and you can lose your mind, and it's nothing to scoff at. Going to find yourself and see what you're really made of and what you're really all about. Um, a lot of people will go crazy. People can become violent. Uh, I think I went crazy for a little bit, but I dealt with it internally with myself. And before I came down off the mountain, I had myself buttoned up and figured out. I didn't bring my crazy off the mountain, so to speak. Um, and I guess some people. Here's what I think. You know, I didn't think a guide could show me anything, and I think even people that are guided, they'll get fucked up somehow too. If that, and that's just my opinion. But whenever you got to get led through your own personal journey like that, I don't think you're ever going to figure it out. And I know that's a harsh opinion, but it's just from my personal life experience and other people and what I've seen, people not willing to go at it and figure it out. Just take your time. Don't take a whole bunch of mushrooms at once. You need to experiment. It's like swimming. Some people you throw them in and they know how to swim. Some people you throw them in and they drown. Uh, and I don't know how you can determine that unless you start from the shallow end and you just kind of work your way through there. But my deepest, most craziest mushroom experiences, I was all by myself. And if somebody would have been there, it probably would have blocked my ability to process whatever I needed to process. I would have been too embarrassed, let's say, to express myself the way I wanted to express myself in front of someone else. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Um, you can do it with somebody, I guess, but if you're willing to go, I don't know. That's what I think. It starts to get very personal and individuated, and depends on if you really feel strongly about wanting to do it with somebody, then maybe you should do that. I didn't. I felt like I needed to do it myself, um, and figure something out.
It is on everyone themselves to figure it out, of course, but I guess like the point is that at least in some cases the support might be needed too. I guess it depends on the situation and the person. Maybe if it's like we talked about earlier about kids, then this is not a suitable therapy for them.
No, yeah, kids should not be doing this. I don't think. I did all this stuff, when I was much older, in my 20s. So I didn't fool around with that. And and I did face my own dangers doing it by myself. It's not like it was just all great. I got lost in the woods. As in I blacked out and next thing I knew, it was dark. Like my next set of memories was like, oh, it's dark. And that was scary. And I actually didn't do them again for a really, really long time because I scared myself. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What is going on? So when you do them to a point where you lose your memory, like you're so, eating so many mushrooms that your memory is gone or something, that, I don't think that's good. And it scared the shit out of me. And I stopped doing it. Um, Eventually revisited it later, much smaller dose though. Um, yeah. I took like 26 dried grams and I put them in a blender with orange juice. And that's insane because I know Terrence McKenna said 5 grams, dried grams is a heroic dose. And I put 26 in there. It's just all I had. And I was like, I want to see what's on the other side, man. I want to see what's happening. And then I went out to the woods because I started to feel sick to my stomach. And I walked outside and I started to feel better because I didn't want to throw all this stuff up that I just paid for. And so I went outside and I started to feel much better. And then everything started to shift radically. Like the ground started to shift around, and I felt like I was in an earthquake and that I needed to lay down. And anyway, I started to trip really hard, and I could get way into it, the details of that later. But next thing I knew, after I laid down in the grass in the daylight, I was deep in the woods and it was dark. So there's my warning story. Anything could have happened to me. I had a bunch of sticks and stuff, and my shirt was kind of torn up, and I don't know what happened to me. Is what I'm saying. I wish I had a GoPro on around my neck or something to see what the fuck I did. Um, and my dad got worried about me because I told him what I was doing. I told everybody, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this today. So if I seem kind of weird, this is why. And they're like, okay. What do we do if something happens? They're like, I don't think I'll freak out, but nothing. Just let me be weird. And anyway, a long time had passed. My dad came out in the woods looking for me with a flashlight, and that's the only way I found my way back home. He kind of went in the direction he knew that I went, and I saw his flashlight. I heard him hollering for me, and I got out of the woods. But anyway, that's what happened to me, and that's the bad stuff that can happen. So it's up to you guys, though.
One thing that I started doing some time ago is to basically stand with my spine against a tree and just stand there. Kind of has like a really calming effect on me. And I don't know, like one time with my shamanic drum, I was like drumming and stuff, but it was happening differently than before. Like just standing there, just in the woods. Like it was more grounded, the experience, and it didn't feel. Yeah, I wasn't seeing things. I was started to feel like connected to the wood, to like to the woods, the forest and stuff.
Yeah, you like tap into it. It's like a tap root. Like your spine and the tree look similar, inside.
Yeah.
It's very strange how we look exactly like, the tree root system down below and the mushroom mycelium. And you got all this different stuff living in the ground, and we have all these different things living inside of us. It really is a trip. Because, trees,
Everything is everything.
yeah, everything's everything. The trees look just like, your veins, and you zoom in even more, and it looks like your neurons branching out. They even say that, they branch out. So it's just, it is really crazy.
Is fascinating.
That stuff really didn't hit me though until I did another mushroom trip that was not that crazy. It was much less amount with some friends, and I had my hand on the ground, and I was next to a tree, and I don't know why, but it just made me realize it's the same thing. I could see my veins, and for some reason, when you're tripping on mushrooms, it gives you a really great visual acuity. Like something different happens, and people's skin kind of becomes translucent. I was looking at my friends, and we were looking at each other, and you could see the blood underneath our skin or something. It kind of freaked us out, um, especially underneath the eyes. It looks like a bunch of blood pools there. And every time somebody's heart would beat, I could see it go all through their face. It was like this white pulse. It's very strange. But we could all see it, and we were all talking about it. And then we looked around, and we realized it looks like we have trees on our face. And I remember that distinctly. That kind of freaked us all out. Uh, could also run a lot better through the woods. It does a whole bunch of strange things to you if you don't take too much of it. But it made me realize that stuff. I don't know how that vision thing happened and it was on a consistent basis. If you took like enough of it, 3 or 4 grams of it, you could see this stuff I'm talking about with people's skin, and kind of, I don't know, kind of freaks you out a little bit, but that's really what we are. Uh, we're really made up of that. And I wonder if part of our brain kind of blocks it. Like maybe you're getting these signals and seeing all this, but our mind kind of paints a opaque canvas. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Have you ever had any experience with that?
In that sense, no, I haven't had any experience like that specifically. No, but yeah, probably the brain would be filtering out certain things because it would want to focus on certain things, and maybe in that sense, you're like maybe like certain like filters are not there, so you're seeing things a bit differently, like different things you pick up on that you would know like subconsciously that you'd be more conscious about it or something. I don't know, maybe it's something like that, but I wouldn't really know. But yeah, but going back to like mental health and stuff. What is what's your opinion with regards to like the kids and all those different medications and like the kind of stuff?
Well, yeah, to get to the point where people don't need to do a bunch of psychedelics to fix their problems, it does start with the children, and I don't know what can be done with the people already messed up and quote unquote autistified or autistified from being on their iPads too much and no human interaction. But what we can do is the new children that we bring up is not do any of what we've done in the past 20 years. Don't have them on tablets and all this crazy shit. Don't have them watching strange cartoons. What is that doing to their brain? What has that done to our brains? We're aware of it now, so we can stop it and just try to have a wholesome upbringing for our new kids. Because I don't know. I'm not an expert or anything, but I don't know how to fix all these people. Because I've fixed cell phones and tablets for people, and when you fix the tablets for the kids, it's they keep calling every day, all the time, like, "Where's my tablet? Where's my tablet?" And they're addicted to it. And then when you give it back to them and it's fixed, they don't even look at you and say thank you. They just start getting on there and they say thank you, mommy, and then their mom pays me and would leave. And so I stopped doing them. I stopped repairing tablets because I felt like it was evil. A cell phone, adults had cell phones. All the children had tablets. I don't know why that is, but it was just what I noticed. And adults had cell phones that they had to make calls and, have a normal life. So I just fixed cell phones after that. I didn't know I was going to have to deal with this little tyrant of a person wanting their tablet back because they can't. Their parents wouldn't make them deal with life, and now they're not dealing with life, and they have to have a device to interact with reality. And it's a level of addiction that I have never seen, and I don't know how you deal with that. I don't know how you break people of that. I don't. Maybe they'll get sick of it, but if you don't develop those skills at those ages, and then you become a teenager without those skills, I don't. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to meet somebody, how they're going to get married, and how they're going to have families. I think they're just going to be, I don't know, shut-ins. They're just going to be living at home. I don't know. But with everybody quitting their job, there's not going to be taxes to pay for them to live. So everything's kind of coming to a place where you got to be living off grid. You have to know how to take care of yourself and talk to other people, and it's very unfair and it's very fucked up. But I would just say we have to not let this happen to the children that we have. And more importantly, we have to have the children. A lot of people don't want to have children, and because it's expensive. So we got to find a way to make it cheaper. I think that's what the off-grid people are doing. They're trying to make a very cheap way to have a family and not be beholden to whatever in the world the crazy world is coming up with next. And we don't need to be a part of it. I think there's a lot of power in that. But yeah, I don't think it's the answer you wanted, but I don't know what to do for the kids right now. What do you guys think can be done for these kids that didn't get these social skills and have these mental health problems now?
Well, from what I've seen, is that it is possible to do the proper, like, well, psychologists call it reparenting. That can be done to teach those kids the proper skills. But the thing is that it is something that they would want to participate in. First of all, I mean, you can't in that sense force them. But I think a big thing also is that regarding like tablets, the tabloids, and like the tablets, there's all those like little screens and all those things, and that they're not interacting with others, is maybe also connected to or partly their parents, in some degree, and overall also just the overall, I don't know, I guess like how society is set up, and kind of also like what's on it's like I feel what's on the those screens, or what they're addicted to. It's like TikTok, or like well, it used to be like Facebook in the past, but it has become like TikTok now. Then, but those
Well,
different
I
apps.
got some information on the reparenting thing you commented on. You're absolutely right. That is what these people are seeking out and doing, but it's not in the form. At least I haven't seen the healthy form. It's not in the form that people would think. I have seen people engage in these slave relationships where there is a stable couple of a male and a female, and there is a bunch of other men and females around. Actually, there are some serious court cases going around that I know of locally involving this. And yeah, so basically, these people live at these other people's house and do stuff for them because they are craving a parental structure, and it is a form of real fucked up parenting. But it's, I mean, I'm calling them slave relationships because these people are being enslaved to these people. And now these different people, you could call them sex cults or whatever you want to call them, but the dynamic specifically nowadays is there is some people, there's a marriage of people that are evil and going around taking advantage of these weak people seeking reparenting through sexuality, which inevitably is what people do. They have a fucked up, you know, family life. People form fucked up sexual things. Men have a different way they manifest that, and women have a different way they manifest that. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
bad, because the lawsuits are I think I don't want to say anything about it really because I want to see what happens. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but yeah, that's
but
what's
yeah,
going on. Relationships.
but yeah, but the thing is that it would make sense though, because that's kind of what the type of or like relationship I guess that they're used to, because that's kind of one thing with like psychologists like John Bowlby would be talking about too, is that you kind of mimicking the type of relationship that you've had um, throughout
Yeah,
your
totally.
upbringing. And the thing is that that's what they're dealing with. And reparenting in that sense means that they would be taught personal boundaries, and like they would be taught to like how to properly interact, so they would get out of such well, toxic dynamics basically.
Yeah, and moving in with people. That's what's weird to me. These people that are in their 20s and 30s are moving in with other people that are not that much older. I don't know the dynamic in each and every case, but it's just the talk around the county. People are just like, hey, this is going on, and then everything's public record. So a lot of people go look it up and gossip about stuff. I think it's kind of good. We're all aware of what in the world is going on around us and who these people are and what they look like. Thanks to Facebook too, because you can just see these names and look them up and be like, oh my goodness, I saw her down here at the grocery store. So, but anyway, these people are moving in with each other, not signing any type of contract, roommate agreement. They're just shacking up with these people and doing whatever they say, because you can read the counter arguments and people will say it plainly on Facebook. They'll just openly discuss their slave relationships and whatnot, man. And it's just really strange. But down at the core, it's an attempt at reparenting, and these evil people take advantage of these weak people that were on their iPad too much, or maybe they were into their computer too much, or they were into something too much, not socially interacting and figuring out life. And now that they're older and lost and broke, they're getting absorbed by these evil people. And it's real dark, man. I don't know what the good side of it is. I guess Jordan Peterson's the good side. He's out there trying to empower these people, men and women that have been damaged with their traumas. He helped me with my damaged traumas and all that stuff. So but there's a positive side to it.
Yeah, but I think that like the reason why they're attracted or like to such type of dynamic is just that because they don't know. Some of them might not know any better, or like for whatever reason. But I think the proper counter to that is not I don't know, I would say not, I don't know, gossip about them, or to talk shit about those that are in such relationship. Maybe the people taking advantage of them, like that. I mean, they should be taken accountable. They should be held accountable in that regard. But like, with regards to these people, I think what they really need is the proper structure where they can be helped, so that they can actually have proper reparenting instead of being stuck in such a toxic dynamic.
Yeah, I just don't know where they can get that, without someone else taking advantage of them in some way. That's the hard. That's the hard part about it. That's why I say, we need to really focus on our children and building up our own kingdoms with walls protecting our values. Because each family should have their own family values, right? And there's a sense of tradition of like, this is something my family isn't going to do, or my family doesn't believe in this. And that used to mean something. And since that stopped, everything's kind of fallen apart, I think. The idea of having a kingdom, being invested in your children, not letting them just kind of run around with the iPad and who knows what they're looking at, man. Like really, like it's probably horrible stuff. And if people focus on that more, the future will manifest something better. It will grow something better out of it. Having one adult being a parent to another adult, no matter what way you slice it, that's humiliating to that person deep down inside their soul. And I don't know how you can me personally, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know how you could successfully do that without them always needing to call you forever, because you're now taking that responsibility of like that you're the parent. You're the person that reparented them. You know what I mean?
No, the point is to make everyone like reparent themselves, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how you have to do it. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's how I have understood how that works. But it's just to give them the tools to do that.
Right.
Yeah, because in the end, you would want them to be free to do their own thing. Because I mean, you cannot. It's impossible to have like droves of people that they're still dependent, because you would want them to not be codependent. You would want them to be like free people who can make their own decisions, who can choose and their own lives, build their own kingdom, and not having to rely on others all the time. I mean,
right.
at the same time, it's
My-
like not bad for people to like help each other out and stuff. Like, you know, you don't have to do everything on your own at the same time, but like there's a limit to it, and I think that like yeah, that's just bad for like what they're going through. Like I feel for them, man.
Yeah, I feel bad too. It's really horrible because, you know, this is a small community I live in, so we all know each other, and to see some of these people you grow up with um, live in a slave house, you're like, what? Are you serious? That is crazy. I cannot believe. But when you really think deeply about it, about the intimacy crisis, the nuclear family being destroyed, blown up. Uh, This is the result of it. Lost souls, you know, searching for somebody to tell them what to do. And there's some people out there that'll do it. And my thing is I don't know how you can tell them that this is a stupid ass idea and you need to go away from this and do your own thing. I I don't know how to put it another way. I just I have a bad feeling that you just got to walk away from that whole. It's like a nuclear radiated toxic wasteland, and if you get anywhere near that, you know it'll probably mess up your life somehow in a very bad way. Interacting with people like that, especially people vying for control over someone's soul, because you know you get down to the bones of it. That's what we're talking about. Somebody giving up their soul to some other person to do living in this house. What a bad situation. So I don't know, but it's happening in a lot of places. I mean, if it's happening here, it's probably happening everywhere because this is the last place things happen. Way out in the country in the mountains. Um, and if all this weird shit's happening here, I don't even know what's going on in the city. Do you think people can be helped? Do you think you can pull them out of the abyss without falling in yourself? Or what do you think the best moral thing to do is in these situations? I have a hard time with it. You know, it sucks.
Yeah, it's really not simple to have an answer for that, but sometimes, at least from my own experience, not that I have been in this kind of circumstance, but some other dark stuff that I've experienced was that I was warned, and people said that this person is dangerous, but I still didn't like want to believe it, and it really took that kind of like that I really had to go into that situation to really learn that it was very, very bad. And maybe that is sometimes what needs to happen before they come then and look for an alternative way and for healing. And then you help them when they come asking for help. Then they are ready to heal that stuff. And it's very unfortunate if they're not ready earlier. But I feel like that sometimes is the case, that's through experience we learn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to be there for people when they're ready to heal and live in the light instead of the dark, let's just say. And you know, and uh I guess I would want somebody to be there for me if I had been doing a bunch of real awful stuff and said bad things to people, and but if you genuinely realize what you had done and what you were losing and want it back, yeah, there needs to be redemption. I think that's an important part of being here.
Yeah, there should be mercy if someone comes with real remorse, or if they finally see that that something that they chose was not good for them, that they want something different, then to try to help them find another way to help themselves.
Yeah, I think that that's the most important thing, and I think at the same time that or like what kind of is important is that that places exist where they can go to, where they're actually not going to be taken advantage of, where they're safe in that sense, and where they can be helped. And I do think like there are there are quite few places online that I know of that offer that type of help, that are run by people who are like who have went through it themselves and stuff like that. So yeah, but I think that like yeah, the more the merrier of such places, I would say.
Yeah, there need to be places. I mean, that's what churches used to be, but some still are. Some are still good. It's hard to, the redemption story. It's hard to tell what way it's supposed to go, even if there's a supposed to be like a predestined anything. But um, I knew somebody for a long time, and they murdered someone, and they went to jail. I didn't hang out with this person anymore at this time, but I knew them, and they got out of jail, and then they started calling me and wanted to hang out with me, and people were like, "Are you gonna go hang out with them? You gonna go talk and see what happened and what's been what how they been?" And I said, "You know what? No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to. I don't want to. It freaks me out. Like I did that. I never thought this person would ever do anything like that. Murder somebody. Um, and I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. This is freaking me out. And the strangest thing happened. I kept running into him out in public, and I had this opportunity to still talk to him, to still say something, to still have that interaction, and I avoided him. I didn't talk to him. I just walked away, and I think about that sometimes, and I ultimately just keep telling myself, like, I don't know what I can do there, or what I'm supposed to do, or what what can happen there after you find that out about somebody. Uh, that's a difficult thing, but I want to think that dude is going to find a way to redeem himself and figure out why he went down that path uh, of thinking. I don't know what. Was into a whole bunch of other stuff. It wasn't like it was a random murder. It was a you know crime related, a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I won't get into it, but it's just a bunch of crime things going on around it, and um, the nobody needed to die. Nobody needed to die at any point.
It's really really a difficult situation. I wouldn't know either what to do.
Yeah, I just it was ultimately play it safe. I guess I'm getting old now, and I'm like, yeah, play it safe guy all the time. Like, I don't know, man. killed a guy. I just maybe I'm gonna not. Maybe I'm not gonna. Maybe I don't need to find out what happened or whatever. Um, phew, yeah, I don't know, but I think people got to look out for themselves too before you can have enough energy to look out for people you can actually help. And I guess that's the equation I'm going by now. I used to go try to help everybody, and then you run out of energy, man.
Yeah.
And then the people you could have really helped and put more energy into that, they lose out, and then they lose people that might deserve your help. And who am I to say who deserves what? Well, you are. It's your energy. So um,
Mm-hmm.
that's the best way that I can sort it out.
Yeah. Yeah, and in that sense, like, yeah, if you stretch yourself too thin, that's just it's another good thing. And I guess I don't know, for myself, kind of like that's why um, I started to become more like, I just, how about just give people the tools to deal with it themselves at some point, because like yeah, it's it's better in that sense, because I mean the thing is also that like everyone has their own life, their own shit that they're going through too, and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, you have to really choose like how to like use your energy well. But that counts for many things in life, not just helping people.
Yep, that's true. Got a lot of other things we got to achieve. I think we got stages though. We got stages where we focus on one set of things, and you get to another age, and you focus on another set of things. It's important we focus on those things as they come and go though, and develop. I think that's what makes a lot of this mental illness around us is people have gone through several ages and not developed these sets of skills, and maybe other people have, and they can't compete anymore, and it's causing this, let's say, uh, I don't know, a difference. There's a difference between people now, a big difference between ages. People that are a little older are far more competent than people that are younger now. I don't know how we're going to fix that gap of incompetence. Um, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word of incompetence. People don't know how to do their job anymore anywhere. Uh, People don't care enough. There's an apathy, and I think that comes from lack of social interaction and a lack of emotion. That's why I think the autistic meme is so prevalent and goes around the internet as much as it does. It is really around. There are a lot of autistic people working now that don't know what they're doing. Mainly because I think companies aren't paying people enough to be competent, and the standards are just. There's this Mike Judge movie called Idiocracy, and I really believe that's kind of what we're living in. Everybody just becomes less intelligent as time goes on, and throws their garbage everywhere. And then the most famous movie in the whole world becomes Ass, and it's just a picture of a guy's ass farting, and that's the world. And I hope some people were in that world off grid somewhere, avoiding the cities, and that was just in the cities. But it feels like that's what's going on.
But I think overall it's just also really a failing on the one hand with regards to like the education system, like matching up with the world outside, but and on the other hand also like the the lack of play, the lack of learning social skills. There's like many factors involved in this, and I think that a lot of young people also kind of feel like, well, in this type of society, like how they've been like treated, or like how everything played out for them. Like, why would they want to participate in that kind of system, and that creates a lot of apathy because they just don't want to invest in it any longer, because they maybe in that sense they don't believe in it anymore. But I don't know, like it's hard to blame them at the same time if you look at like how a lot of things are being run, and how it's in so many places become so much about you're just a number fulfilling some job as a cog, and once you're run out and you're like drained mentally or whatever, or physically, you're just like pushed aside and another cog goes in and stuff like that. It's maybe like that soulless nature of it all, of the of like how it works. And I think that the true antidote to that would be to bring some like humanness back into society, to be able to allow people to be people again. Because I mean, we're not cogs, because we're just not, and we're emotional, spiritual beings, and we need more than just a job, money, and some food, and it's all fine. It's like, nah, it doesn't work like that. People need more, and I think that that's what's missing, and like people are starting to opt out because of it, because they just don't want to invest in it anymore. They're just like, why invest in that? And I think that's the
Yeah,
real
it is a
problem.
waste of time. It is a waste of time to invest in it. I really think we have everything we already need to make something amazing. Um, I've believed that for a long time. Everybody's just now believing that too and doing it, doing their own thing. Uh, we have electronic circuit boards you can print out. We can do crazy stuff. I could go on and on about all the amazing things we can do, but the internet's tied it all together in a neat bow. And that's the main thing. All this stuff going on politically, and YouTube channels getting taken down, and the NFT grift, none of that matters. They're keeping up the videos that show you how to do all this cool shit on your land, and make solar panels and do hydroponics. So we should take full advantage of that, because that's the gold in the internet right now. What it allows an individual to be capable of manufacturing and doing. Um, you can make your own clothing line immediately right now. There's machines out there you can buy for a reasonable amount of money, and you could you can do whatever you want now, really. And people should start doing that. That's how I know people solve their problems. If they or get fired or laid off from a job. I knew a guy that just started a hydroponics food bank, uh, and then it took off into an organic food delivery service where they delivered handmade salads. Had a little truck, a refrigerated truck that would deliver all these salads all around the county, and um, just learned it all off the internet and doing it in his parents' basement. And then he moved out and then started a business.
That sounds very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like in that sense, like I'm happy that he did, and that he spent that time looking into it, and like and making it happen. And I think that that's indeed very important next to like all the mental health part and the physical health part too. To
Yeah.
like get
I
that
guess I'm
right.
saying long ways. The people that were able to get out of their mental health problems are out and doing really cool stuff that people aren't talking about enough. And all the other people, I don't know what to do, but when they start to come around or realize something, or I'll be good. Let's hang out. Let's build a future together because we've really fucked all this up. There's a lot of people asleep at the wheel, and there's people, grabbing the wheel. You look at all the stuff going on in Canada with the truckers and the farmers now. It's really cool. They're taking a hold of the wheel that the people are asleep at up in the government. So I'm sure that's going to happen everywhere. It's if the Canadians are rebelling, then they're so nice. If they're pissed, the whole world is enraged. So
Yeah,
yeah, things are good. Things are really good.
I think so
The
too.
mental health thing, I think, was a problem. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I was sad and depressed a lot. People call that a mental illness. All this anxiety about what is my future? What am I going to do? What is life? The internet helped me figure it out. And doing a bunch of mushrooms with my friends. I don't recommend everybody does that, but I found my own path. A lot of other people found their own path out of depression, found their meaning. I listened to Jordan Peterson videos for hours. I listened to his Harvard videos. I listened to all his lectures. And that, to me, helped me a whole lot. Has helped millions of other people too. So I think there's been a huge amount of progress that we should celebrate. I think we're doing it. I think it's good. I think there's already good news. Because if I got out of it, and I know how sad I felt all the time, there's a lot of other people that have found their way out, to other people to talk and make other cool things together.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if any of you want to still like add something to the episode. Because otherwise, maybe wrap it up. 'Cause we've been going for some time already.
Don't join slave houses. You can figure it out on your own, or join a cool Discord and talk to people.
Definitely.
That's all I got.
Okay. What I've got is this. Let's do it. Let's make that more beautiful world.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.